Hello everyone from the Flexo office in Contig and welcome to the IBP 2305 release highlights. I'm Robin from Flexo
And my name is Sander.
and we are both experts in IBP solutions within SAP. So today we'll guide you through four interesting features that we have highlighted this release. So I'd say let's dive right into them.
Yes, definitely.
So what we will be looking at today, first of all, we will be looking at a new job definitions app which is available. Then we will be taking a look at some enhancements that have been made to the Planner Workspace. Again, a new app which is being introduced is a Telemetry Data App. And finally, we'll take a look at machine learning that is being there, that is helping us in discovering patterns in master data.
Looks very promising.
Indeed, let's take a look. Starting off with the Job Definitions app. So I'll guide you through what it is, how it can be leveraged, and why it should be implemented or why it could be implemented within your IBP solution. So this Job Definitions app is, for you as an administrator, an opportunity or a possibility to control complexity, flexibility, or the user friendliness of jobs that are being executed by the planners. You as an administrator have the option to define parameters up front and also decide in which order these parameters should be visualized. You can also decide whether a parameter should be mandatory, only visible, or it should be read-only for a specific user. And on top of that, you can also assign specific jobs to specific users. Now, why could it be used or why should you maybe use it? Is because that we see in lots of projects, lots of customer cases that triggering jobs, triggering algorithms is a very crucial part, a very common task as well as part of multiple processes. For
Yeah,
example, think about the demand process in which you come to a consensus on the forecast, but then of course that forecast needs to be sourced and needs to be committed into a specific key figure. Also, as an OP cycle, it could be that you make manual changes to your data and that multiple steps need to be executed in order for this data to be taken into account in a proper way.
I think we have some clients who are going to be very happy about this feature.
Indeed, because yeah, it provides us with extra benefits because yeah,
Yeah,
planners
definitely.
they need to do these jobs, they need to execute these tasks. So now we as administrators or you as administrators can define these parameters up front and make sure that the planners only see those specific jobs that they are responsible for.
Yeah,
And this will lead to a way more flexible and way more user-friendly way of using these jobs, which will eventually lead to less user errors and also significant time savings in the
nice.
Taking a look at how it looks in the system, I've prepared a short demo in our test system, so we will see how you as an administrator can define one of these job definitions. So you see here in the screen that we are within the job definitions app. So here we can easily create a new job definition, giving it a meaningful name and selecting a job template based on which we want to define or alter the job definition. Then we see when we want to define it, we see different tabs. We first of all have the general information. You give it a clear name, a clear description, so that is very visible for the planners which job is being addressed. And you can also select in which apps these job definitions should become available. If we look at the parameters grouping tab, because if you are working with jobs which exist of multiple steps, lots of these parameters will be common, will be shared between the steps. In this tab, we can decide which of the parameters should be leading and also which other settings will be referenced to this leading parameter. For example, a planning area that you only have to define it once and that all the other jobs also take it into account. In this UI section tab, we can define or create different sections in which we want to group our parameters. Again, a way of making it way more visual, way more easy, and way more user friendly to navigate throughout the jobs. For example, in this case, I had a specific section where I want to store my parameters for related to filtering, and you will see in a moment how that can enhance our job definition. In this configuration sheet, and finally, we see the different parameters which are part of the jobs. And here we can decide that specific parameters that they should be read only, so that we decide them up front, and that parameters that all of the planners have no longer opportunities to change these parameters again, leading to way less errors in the end. Um, as I created another section in the previous step, I now also want to add a specific parameter related to the filter. which we will then add to the specific section which I have created. So here in the parameters, I can easily create or add a new parameter related to the planning filter. Automatically, it will be assigned to the first section, but then afterwards I can change the section in the right column. So here you see that I'm changing the section of the planning filter. So if we now scroll to the bottom, we will see that this parameter will be grouped under the correct section. And final tab in this configuration of this job definition is the assignment tab. Here we can clearly decide to which user or to which user group we want to assign a specific job. Again, to summarize, it's an opportunity for us as administrators to limit the access on the first hand, but also define the job dialog screen, which will pop up when the users navigate to a specific job. Final thing we need to do in order to finalize this is release this job definitions app and make sure that it becomes available in either the Planner Workspace app or the Monitor Applications app. So that's basically how it looks in the system. If then at all as a planner you want to release or you want to schedule the job, you will see only these parameters which have been defined using this app.
Very nice. Let's go to the next topic.
Yes, indeed.
The next topic is about the Planner Workspace enhancements. And there are multiple enhancements. And the first is a general layout overhaul. For example, in the sidebar in which you configure your planning view, multiple improvements have been made. And if previously you had a workbook with multiple workbook components, for example, let's say an analytics chart and a planning view, previously you saw them side by side in a column layout. But right now, there is a functionality to show them in row layout. And in my opinion, it's easier and more intuitive to use this kind of layout. The next enhancement is the fact that for a single workspace, multiple workbooks can be configured. This means that the planner can easily do all their planning relevant tasks in a more efficient manner because it's one place with all the relevant planning data without having to switch application or workspaces. Linked with that, in my opinion, is the alerts tab, which allows the planners to visualize, analyze, and even take action on certain alerts. For example, you can snooze an alert, you can change some data to mitigate an alert. But the overarching idea is efficiency. Everything should be possible in one workspace, one place for the planners. Finally, we want to highlight the right access sharing. So basically, users can share their planner workspaces with each other, but now with right access, meaning that multiple users can read, maintain, and adjust planner workspaces. And of course, this improves collaboration significantly. Correct. So finally, if you want to have more information on the Planner Workspace enhancements, SAP provides a very intuitive, very concise video linked in this presentation and on our site.
All right. Thanks, Sander. I don't think we mentioned it yet in the introduction, but indeed, at this Planner Workspace is more and more becoming the go-to tool indeed that SAP is trying to promote. It's making lots of enhancements, the latest releases. Definitely enhancements will also be coming in the next releases. So this Planner Workspace is something to be taken into account, of course.
Yeah, indeed. We showed it to one of our clients and they can't wait to have it in their production system.
Nice, good to hear. All right, then I move on to the next topic, I suggest. So we have, again, another app being introduced by SAP. Again, maybe an app which is more interesting for the administrators, not straight away directly for the users, because it's an app, Telemetry Data, which in general shows you data which is generated when a specific user takes a relevant action in the IBP system. When administrators navigate to this app, they can clearly see when, just related to timing, and also by who that specific data is generated. And you can easily segment it. You can easily filter on time slot, on user sessions, but also, and really relevant, I think, is you can also filter per component of the IBP system. So for example, you can look at data which is generated from the Planner Workspace or from statistical forecasting jobs or algorithms, and even Excel favorites or Excel templates. And when action is taken upon these kind of components, also data is being generated. Capping it off with this conclusion for this data, I think it will provide administrators with very relevant insights, very good knowledge about which apps or which functionalities are mostly used in an IBP
Mhm.
system. Also, if you introduce features, whether they are used by the right audience, because you don't, I think, want supply planners being involved with demand forecasting algorithms, for example, and then also whether if you have at all introduced new features or SAP has introduced new features, then you can clearly see whether or not these have been adopted. So I think in general, kind of way to check the involvement of the business users throughout the process to check whether or not the system is being used by the right audience. So definitely, again, a way to generate insights, to gain knowledge about our whole IBP
Mhm.
solution as a complete package, let's say.
Seems like a nice tool for administrators,
Indeed,
especially.
indeed. So take it away, Sander, with the final
Yeah.
for today.
For the final topic, SAP launched what they call machine learning to discover patterns in master data. Basically, what this means is when you work in IBP, you work with large amounts of master data, but it is essential to have good quality master data. And SAP now gives us the functionality to improve our master data by running a pattern analysis job. This job will find patterns and highlight potential error or problem areas. And based on the results of the job, we can act upon them. For example, you could do a manual master data change, or maybe a better solution is to automate your master data via managing master data rules. An important note here is the fact that this feature or this job is a machine learning assisted feature, meaning that it is recommended to run the analysis on a full data set as it will yield better results or more reliable results than running it on a small subset because it has to learn the pattern, of course. If you want more information on this new feature, SAP provides a very clear demo on it, and the video is linked in our presentation. Finally, we have a slide with the results of the analysis job. And here we can see multiple patterns. And based on the algorithm and on the attributes which can be indicated as conditions or as consequence, IBP gives us a confidence percentage. And this confidence percentage basically tells us how accurate is our pattern, how good is our pattern. And you can see at the bottom, we have two patterns that are not really consistent. So clearly, this is the place to be if you want to tackle master data inconsistencies.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks. It's very interesting. I think it's something that we indeed can't escape in this era. So the
No,
way with the
definitely.
machine learning, with the AI algorithms, so definitely, if you want to improve master data, a very useful
But
tool to use and to make proper use of course.
correct. Very useful feature.
All right, I think that was it for today regarding the features that we wanted to highlight. Of course, if you are looking at the complete SAP IBP package and the different modules, SAP is, of course, introducing multiple enhancements, either smaller enhancements or bigger changes. If you want to know more about any of the features that we highlighted, or if you want to have other information related to SAP IBP, don't hesitate to visit our website, get in touch with one of our colleagues, with our experts in the IBP domain. So we included two links in the slide. The first one is a link to our site, to our digital supply chain landing page, let's say. And the second link is a link which will guide you to the landing page for all these release videos. So I think we mentioned it already in previous videos. These releases are there on a quarterly basis. So each 3 months, a new video will be released. And this landing page is where we bundle the different releases on one specific page, where you can easily check what has been introduced in previous releases, for example, and
Mhm.
also within 3 months, and the next video will be included. So I think the only thing that's remaining is to thank everyone for watching this video, making sure that they know that if there are any questions, then we are very happy to guide you through any feedback or to give you any information that you need. So indeed, in the end, thank you all for watching and hope to see you in 3 months.
See you soon.